This waste of another perfectly good hour is sponsored by Allstate, now offering accident forgiveness. More information at allstate.com. Are you in good hands? Hello and welcome to Car Talk from National Public Radio with us, Click and Clack, the Tappet brothers, and we're broadcasting this week from the etymology department here at Car Talk Plaza.
Yeah, etymology. You know, every year, after careful consideration, are you ready for this? Mm-hmm. Merriam-Webster Dictionary adds some new words to the English language. New words.
Mm-hmm. Well,
none of these that I'm about to read to you will make it to the dictionary.
Oh, these aren't these aren't under consideration.
Well, they should be under consideration. And this is from Webster's online dictionary, and they are new words suggested by readers. Okay, I'm going to give you a few examples. This one came from Emory in New York. Dyskinesia. Any idea what that means?
No.
A disease in which one enters another room and forgets what they came in for. Dyskinesia.
I got it. Okay.
Yeah, here's another one. Garage Mahal. An extremely large house with its primary distinguishing characteristic being an oversized 3 or 4 or more car garage to hold SUVs, minivans, and sports cars. Garage Mahal.
Love it.
That's from Lawrence Singh from Ohio. And here's one from Mike Schrock from Georgia. A molassochist. You got it?
I think I do.
One who derives pleasure from making processes painfully slow. Example, I went to the DMV today to get my license, and the guy at the counter was a total molassochist.
Love it.
Here's one we can use when you're around. This was sent in by Catherine from Texas.
I don't think I'm going to like this. In advance, I know I'm not going to like it. Go ahead.
Flatulence. The glance given by someone who recognized that someone else nearby has farted. Flatulence. Here's one you'll get the meaning of immediately from Miriam in New York. Winternment. Got it? Winternment?
I do.
The state of being forced to spend month after month inside due to lousy weather.
Those are beauties.
Winternment.
And I think the vast majority of those should certainly be in the dictionary, and I'm going to just start using them.
Yeah, I like every one of them.
Well, look, if
I like flatulence the best.
I knew you would.
What was that?
Not even a word need to be spoken. Just a look. But look, if your car has been forcing you to come up with new words or just some oldies but goodies, give us a call. We're at 888-CAR-TALK. That's 888-227-8255. Hello, you're on Car Talk.
This is Millie from Tallahassee, Florida. How you guys doing today?
We're great. What's going on? How can we help you?
I have a 2005 Pontiac Grand Prix.
Uh-huh.
And the only problem I have is I've noticed that in the mornings primarily, when I go to accelerate from a stop, from a light, from a turn, anything like that, the car makes a noise like a sewing machine. It goes ring, and then it stops after I get going good.
And
any ideas?
Is the car moving while it's doing this?
Yes.
And does it move at the regular rate? I mean, is it going slower or faster than it ought to be?
No, it's not like it's hesitating or anything.
It's just making a ridiculous noise.
Yeah, and it literally sounds like what it sounds like when I'm revving up my sewing machine to make some curtains or something.
And the harder you accelerate, the more likely you are to get the noise.
Yes.
Yeah. And if you sit there and just idle the engine, you don't get any of this noise.
No.
Okay. And
I don't normally get it like when I get in my car after lunchtime.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if it's something to do with when the car is cold.
Aha!
But it really doesn't get that cold. Like, even this is not like just winter months. Like, now that it's already in the 90s here, it still will do it.
It does have to do with cold, because cold is relative. And don't forget, the under-hood temperature is going to go to several hundred degrees, maybe 300 or 400 when the engine is really cranking out all that heat and the ambient temperature is high.
But when you first start it, it's much, much colder than that.
Right.
What I think is happening is you have either a loose belt or a worn belt or a loose or ineffective belt tensioner. And this car has one belt that runs everything. And when you accelerate hard,
The belt is slipping around.
exactly, and that's what you're hearing. And then when the thing warms up, the belt actually shrinks, and the slippage stops.
Oh.
Because it tightens it up.
Right, and that's why when you come out for lunch, what time do you have lunch?
Like 12:30.
What time do you get to work? Like my brother, 11?
No, I get to work at 8:15 in the morning.
8:50? What do you do, Millie?
I shoot video for the government.
Oh, CIA. Never mind. We don't need to know because you're about to kill us. But so you get to work, and in the 4 hours that you're there before you go to lunch, the engine really hasn't had enough time to cool off to let this belt stretch out.
Right.
And that's why it doesn't make noise at lunchtime.
So now I just turn the radio up until I get to work.
Well, that works. But
You want to take it to your mechanic.
Uh-huh.
He will make sure that the tensioner is working. And if it is, then you need a new belt.
How many miles are on this thing, by the way?
Only 21,000.
Well, I'm
Kinda
suggesting.
soon for
Yeah,
a
it is
belt.
kind of soon, and I'm suggesting it's the tensioner.
Yeah, me too.
In all
So
likelihood.
I should have that check out the belt tensioner?
Yeah, the
Yep.
car's still under warranty, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Take it back. There may be a technical service bulletin. Rubber is one of the unique things that actually shrinks when it gets hot. Most things expand. If you had a piece of steel sitting in front of you and you warmed it up, it would get bigger in every dimension.
Okay.
But rubber shrinks, so that's why the belt makes less noise when it gets warm because it actually gets shorter. Of course, when you find out that it's not the belt, you can just disregard this entire explanation.
Okay.
Got it?
In the meantime, it sounds good.
It does sound good, and we've been fooling people like that for.
And I did learn something else today already, that I did discover that my husband has destination.
Really?
Yeah.
Dyskinesia, yeah.
Destination, yeah. I got to be able to diagnose him when I get home.
Yeah. Well, he could have flatulence.
So even if the belt isn't really the problem, I did learn something today.
Yeah.
You did.
That's
You
great.
did. Well, that's our goal. One caller learned something. We're all set for the day now.
Yeah, you should hang up now. You
Yeah.
know?
We may.
We're done.
Okay, you squandered another perfectly good hour listening to Car Talk. See you, Millie.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for your call.
Bye-bye.
888 Car Talk. That's 888-227-8255. Hello, you're on Car Talk.
Hi, Paul from Newton, Mass.
Hey, Paul from Newton. What's-
Newton, Mass.
Right around the corner.
Yeah, Newton.
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 What's going on in Newton?
Well, I've got a 1994 Ford Taurus,
Yeah.
about 60,000 miles, so
Wow.
not really driven that much.
This must
Not
have been
very
this must have
driven
been
at
a
all.
relative's car.
Yes. Well, it was my mom who bought herself a nice brand spanking new car, and I used this as kind of a third car.
Wow.
Well, she had a brand spanking new car. This
Yeah,
is it.
60,000
Then you took it away
miles.
from her.
Right.
Wow.
But go ahead.
Well, when I start up the car, I can't take it out of park. So what I need to do is turn the ignition switch slightly forward to release the steering wheel. And then I can start the car, and then I can shift it into drive. Now, if I turn the key too far where it engages the electrical systems, and I shift it into neutral and then try to start the car, it won't start at all.
Oh.
So I've got, something
You
where
lost me
I
with
have to-
94 Taurus. Let's go. So you have a car. If you start it up in park,
Right.
you can do that. But you step on the brake,
Right.
and then you cannot shift the thing out of park.
Correct.
And it's got a shifter on the floor or on the column.
On the column.
So what do you do? Do you take it out of park first? Is that what you're saying?
Well, I move the ignition key forward just enough so it releases the steering lock
Releases
and
the,
releases the ability to shift, so I can shift from park to neutral.
Yeah, okay.
Then I start the car, and then I can move it to drive. However, if I move the key forward so that it engages the electrical systems and then move it from park to neutral and then try to start it, it won't even start. So I have to go back to park and get it sort of in the right position. jiggle it.
Right.
Okay, Paul, thanks for the call.
Yeah, you already solved somebody else's problem today.
Yeah,
for the hour,
we're
right?
one for one. I mean, we're about to go to 500 here right on the second call.
Okay.
No, I think what seems to be wrong. First of all, it should start in neutral regardless.
Yeah, that's confusing
And I
part.
think that may be the crux of the problem. I think that the shifter may be out of adjustment. And this guy, I don't know if this is done with a cable. Okay, so I'm assuming that when it says you're in neutral, you're not in neutral. Here's what I'd like you to do.
Okay.
Try to start it in neutral by holding the shifter with your left hand,
Okay.
and at the same
then
time
turn the key.
holding the key, but you're going to move the shifter north and south of neutral
Okay.
while
And
you're
at
holding
some
the key.
point, my brother is guessing it'll start.
Okay.
So that may be part of the problem, but I don't understand why you should have difficulty getting it. So you start up and you can't not get it out of park,
Right.
because that may be a different issue altogether.
Interestingly enough, 3 months ago, it just stopped happening.
Oh,
And then, literally within the past 2 weeks, it started being a problem.
it came back.
I think I'm going to have to. I think there's an answer here on the wheel of misfortune, and I'm going to give it a spin for you, Paul, because I think if we get lucky here, it'll come up.
Okay.
Okay, here we go.
We get a
Oh,
spin.
you got the wheel. Okay.
We get the
Yeah,
wheel.
we got the wheel.
Yeah.
When we're stuck, the wheel saves us.
Ooh.
Oh, this is perfect.
See, it almost landed on the one I was hoping it landed on.
Yeah.
This is bad motor mount.
I like that.
Ah.
What it actually landed on was the thermostat. And I'm having a little trouble making the thermostat a problem because it doesn't start.
It seems to me, from the evidence that we have here, that your problem is that the shift cable is out of adjustment. And it could be because you have a bad motor mount. But there's something that's preventing you from picking the gears that you want, even though it says that you're in the gear that you want.
Right.
It really isn't. And that's why it won't start in neutral. But try to start it in neutral by moving the shifter.
Okay.
And while it may tell you that you have a bad neutral safety switch, I think it's more likely to be telling you that the thing is out of adjustment.
Uh-huh.
All right?
And you have to take it back to the dealer and they'll fix it.
I'd return it to your mother. Tell her you don't want the car. You want your money back.
Trade her in for the new car, right?
What's she driving now?
Lexus.
A Lexus.
Oh, that's nice.
Well, you'll never get that away from her.
Yeah.
Good luck, man.
Thanks.
See you later.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All righty, 888 Car
Well,
Talk.
he might in 2017.
He might. 227-8255. Hello, you're on Car Talk.
Hi, this is Danielle from Olympia, Washington.
Hi, Danielle. I was
Danielle.
just thinking that sometimes when parents have a car and their kids want that car, they talk to them. You really shouldn't be driving this. It's not the right car for you. It's too fast. It's unsafe. My brother has never owned a car that anyone would try to get away from him. Right? The cars you have.
No one's tried to get my MG away from me.
The Dodge Dart.
The Dodge Dart.
Yeah. The Chevy.
No one ever tried
Chevy
to
Caprice.
Chevy Caprice.
With the raccoons living in the back.
Oh, the Chevy Caprice.
Yeah, no one tried. We tried to get that away from you so you wouldn't get diseased. Anyway, Danielle.
Hi.
Where are you
What's up?
from? Where are you from?
Olympia, Washington.
Oh, I'm
Olympia,
sorry.
Washington,
Got
yeah.
it. What's going on?
Well, I have a 92 Honda Civic that has had the check engine light coming on for some time now and has also had black liquid dripping from the tailpipe. Well, a couple of weeks ago, my husband and I had noticed something hanging from the tailpipe, so we started pulling on it, and it ended up being what looked like long, black, greasy
Long
hair.
black hair.
Yeah.
Like my brother's.
Well, yeah, was.
Well, my husband thinks somebody was just playing a prank and shoved wig hair up there, and we pulled it out, and the problem's gone. But I think we're losing something vital from the car, and we should take it into the mechanic.
Yeah, well, cars do lose their hair when they get old. I lost my hair. You said the problem's gone. The hair is gone, or the check engine light is gone?
The check engine light still comes on, and it mainly comes on when I'm going downhill, it seems.
I rather doubt the issues are related.
I don't
Okay.
think so either.
But how many miles are on this car? There's got to be a jillion on it.
160,000.
160.
Oh, that's good.
Well,
Yeah. And we've not treated it very kindly.
well, no, you yanked its hair out the other day. I mean, right off. We know you guys are animals.
Yeah, the two things are not related.
Okay.
But what's coming out the tailpipe is the sound deadening material they put in the muffler.
Oh,
And
okay.
it is not. We've been assured that it is not human hair,
It kind of looked like it.
but it looks
does look
looks
just
pretty
like
darn
it.
close. In
Yeah.
fact, I've been tempted to fashion a hairpiece for myself a few times because it's a lot of stuff in there.
Yeah,
I don't know
Right.
how much you pulled out, but it's.
It was quite a bit. It was a little scary.
yeah.
So you got all of that out. Does the car sound louder now?
I haven't noticed anything, no.
That's great.
That's great.
It is great. You don't have to worry about a thing.
Well,
Just keep driving.
yeah, at some point you'll have a hole in the muffler and you replace it and you'll notice it sounds quieter. But I don't think.
It would be nice to know why the check engine light is on, though.
Yeah.
But you're only going to find that out by going to the shop, and they could find out, for example, that it's related to a restriction in the exhaust system.
Okay.
Does the car seem at all underpowered?
No, but it's a four-cylinder, so it never seemed like it ever had any power.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's got 160,000 miles on it.
Right.
Yeah, well, take it in. I mean, the check engine light could be on for 1,000 different reasons, not the least of which is a bad oxygen sensor.
Yeah, and it's always good to know what that is.
But we shouldn't worry about the hair.
I wouldn't worry about that. I stopped worrying about it years ago.
Okay.
So rest assured, your car will be fine.
Well, I need you to do me one favor.
Yeah.
You need to say that I was right and my husband was wrong.
Oh, because you knew it wasn't an animal that had been stuffed up the tailpipe.
Right.
Oh, no, you're absolutely right, and he's absolutely wrong.
Thank you so much.
Is there a dinner or something riding on this? Or
Yeah, could you certify it and send it to my address?
Well, could you send the dinner to us first?
Right.
See you, Danielle. Good luck.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, now, I have to admit, I'm getting a little tired of asking you if you remember last week's puzzle, only to be confronted week after week with the same negative response.
Well, I don't like it either.
The relentless negativity, I got to tell you, it's getting to me.
Well, me too.
Do you remember the puzzler? No. Do you remember the puzzler? No. Remember the puzzler? No. That's all I ever hear is no.
Yeah, well, let's try something different.
Exactly, something more positive.
Yeah.
So, Tommy, did you forget last week's puzzler?
Yes.
I thought so. Well, it was the famous Aunt Bertha puzzler.
Oh, we had an Aunt Bertha?
No, not really, but it was an historic, folkloric, and forensic puzzler, and we'll have the whole story and more of your car questions in just a minute.
So please stay tuned.
Pushing harder, getting nowhere. I can get there faster in my car. In my car. Swerve around, I tend to drift. Never used to keeping in one lane. The lines and lies, the fines and dollars, never part, never part, never part, never.
And even though 4 out of 5 NPR employees say they'd rather have an unnecessary colonoscopy than have to listen to us say it, this is NPR, National Public Radio. Hey, if you find yourself thinking, this show gets worse every time I hear it, why not check out some classic shows from our archives, like when we used to be good?
When was that?
It's just a figure of speech,
You can download any show from the Car Talk archives at cartalk.com. Just click where it says listen to the show.
Hi, we're back. You're listening to Car Talk with us, Click and Clack, the Tappet brothers, and we're here to talk about cars, car repair, and the answer to last week's puzzle. This was sent in by a fellow named Larry Gordon. When I was a kid, Larry writes, I always looked forward to Christmas visits from my Aunt Bertha. She was always fun, and every year she gave me the same present, 2 pairs of hand-knitted wool socks. We lived in San Diego, and I didn't really need wool socks, but it was the thought that counted, In 1951, when I was 10, our folks told me that Aunt Bertha would not be coming for Christmas. She wasn't feeling well, and at her age, the trip was difficult. I kind of sensed that this was pretty much the end of the wool socks era, and I was right. It was also the end of Aunt Bertha. Before the week was out, she had passed away.
Oh.
When the county medical examiner filled out her death certificate, he, of course, had to list the cause of death. Now, I can't be 100% sure, but I think that Aunt Bertha could well have been the last person in the United States to officially die of this cause.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
Now, there were many Americans who died of the same thing the previous year, okay, and in the years prior to that, but none after. The question is, what did Aunt Bertha die of?
That's excellent.
Yeah. Well, Aunt Bertha died of a rare disease called old age. But starting in 1952, I guess, the Bureau of Health Statistics, which is part of the CDC, decided that you couldn't just die of old age. You had to have a reason. Like you fell on your knitting needles or got hit by a bread truck or something like that. There had to be an official. There were I think they listed 130 official reasons
that were better than
old age. So they wanted everyone to be pigeonholed. They didn't want you to just die because you were bored. Died of boredom. Old age. No, you had to die from something. So Aunt Bertha, because she died a week after Christmas, she could have died like at 11:59 on New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
She could have been the last person in 1951 to have died of old age.
I'm not sure I agree with that.
What do you know Aunt Bertha?
No, I mean, I think you can die of old age because everything goes wrong at once.
No.
What do you pick something out of the out of the
But
hat?
you can die of old age, but they won't let you.
They won't.
The government won't let you do it anymore.
Yeah.
You got to pick something.
You got to pick
In
something.
fact, when you're about 75, they send you a flyer. Pick
What would you like to die of?
when we could arrange it. Do we have a winner, by the way?
We certainly do. The winner this week is Dan Cooper from Larkspur. Really? That's
Yes.
cute. California. And for having his answer selected at random from among all the correct answers that we got, Dan gets a $26 gift certificate to the Shameless Commerce Division at CarTalk.com, which he can use to get our new deck of puzzler cards. 75 colorful, oversized cards with a Car Talk puzzler on each one. Perfect for those long trips in the car or for shimming up wobbly tables.
Yes, and I've been using this deck of cards on a regular basis to repurpose old puzzlers. Anyway, we'll have a new puzzler coming up in the third half of the show, so don't abandon the radio just yet. In the meantime, we invite you to call us with your car problems, and we'll try not to make them worse. But no promises.
No promises. No.
Our number is 888-CAR-TALK. That's 888-227-8255. Hello, you're on Car Talk.
Hi, this is Katie from Philadelphia.
Hi, Katie.
Katie.
How are you guys?
Well, we're well. How are you?
Excellent.
What's troubling you?
Well, I just purchased a '99 Subaru Legacy Outback,
Mm-hmm.
and it has a problem where when you shift into drive from park or from reverse and you press on the gas, the engine will rev. And it won't engage immediately.
Oh.
So I'll be revving the engine for a little while, and all of a sudden it'll engage and it'll go forward.
Boom.
And
Boom.
this is an issue because I live in Philadelphia, and I have to parallel park all the time. So if you have it in drive, and all of a sudden you have the gas pedal pressed in a bit,
Yeah.
you lunge into the car in front of you.
Has it
So-
been doing this since you bought it?
It's been doing it since about a week after I bought it, and I took it back to the dealership.
Yeah.
And what they did is they flushed the transmission fluids because they talked to the Subaru dealership and they said that this has been an issue before.
Yeah, and they flushed it because they wanted to take the sawdust out that they had put in before you bought it, because they figured if someone else took it apart, they wouldn't want any evidence of the sawdust in there.
They're waiting for me
Not
to
that there's
take 'em
anything
in.
wrong with it. I mean, sawdust has
Sawdust works.
Well, it worked for a little bit, but it started up again.
So they thought by flushing it out, I'm assuming they thought that there was some sticky valves in the transmission.
Yeah,
Yeah, it sounds worse than that. How many miles are on this thing?
60,000.
Oh,
60.
it's
Yeah,
practically
and well,
brand
one
new.
thing that was a little weird, a little fishy when I bought the car, was that it had been sitting at a dealership for about a year before it was
Was
sold.
that dealership in Louisiana?
Actually, it was Indiana, but that was a good guess.
Indiana.
But did you buy this from a Subaru dealer?
I bought it from like a we sell all types of old cars dealership.
Oh, it was just. It was,
it wasn't a
oh,
dealership.
it was a used car lot.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Do you have any warning lights on the dashboard? Is the transmission oil temperature light on, for example?
Nope.
Because that would indicate that there's some fault with the transmission that may be found by the computer. If, however, the transmission is slipping,
Transmission slipping.
if it's slipping, which is what's happening, or you have valves stuck because maybe the thing was underwater, and just because it was in Indiana for a year doesn't mean that it didn't spend the previous 6 months or year underwater.
Oh, okay, good.
Well, I'm just, and there have been a lot of cars that have kind of slipped through the cracks, and yours could be one of them. If you'd be a lot more cautious if you were buying this car in one of the Gulf states. But a lot of those cars that were in the Gulf states wound up getting their titles kind of doctored up and sent to other parts of the country where unsuspecting people like you, Katie, might buy one.
Terrific. This is great news.
Look for evidence of, like, fossils in the car,
Little shellfish in the engine or something.
But did you get a warranty from these guys you got it from?
Well, it was a 1-month warranty, and I brought it in before that warranty was out. And they said, if this doesn't fix it, then bring it back.
Yeah.
So,
Well, that's it.
You have to, and they may owe you a transmission.
oh, really?
You should take it to someone else first for an estimate.
Okay.
And the best place to take it is the Subaru dealer.
Okay.
and let them drive it and let them look at it, and they'll hook up the scanner to it and see if it isn't something that can be corrected by replacing a solenoid, which may in fact be the case.
Okay.
If they say you need a transmission rebuild, then you can go with that in hand to these guys and say, hey guys, let's take care of this.
Okay.
And
They're
then-
not going to like it, but that's too bad.
but do it before they move.
Yeah, because, I mean, they've been hoping that you wouldn't notice it in that month.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, you did.
Yeah, so now your warranty is extended
Right.
because they tried to fix it within the month, and just the fact that they couldn't doesn't exempt them.
Mm-hmm.
But do it before they relocate or go into the burger business.
Okay.
Because they may decide cars are not for them, and they may start flipping burgers. Who
But
knows?
it is a good idea to go to the dealership first
Okay.
and get an estimate of what needs to be done.
All right.
Good luck.
Do that. Thanks so much, guys.
See you, Katie.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Still isn't safe to buy a used car, is it?
Well, if
Certainly
it's,
not from a used car lot. Don't they have a bad reputation?
Well, a lot of them do. Well, it's unfortunately.
I don't want to.
Well, I mean, look how we've dragged down the entire industry of people who call into shows to get advice. I mean, so you got a couple of bad used car lots.
I'm sorry. I take it all back.
Yeah, be careful where you tread. Right, a couple of used car. I mean, most used car dealers are pretty reputable.
Yeah, they are.
And I want to know, at what point in your life, if you're a salesperson or a retiree, do you decide that white shoes and a white belt look good? I mean, do you wake up one morning and say,
This
I mean,
is the day.
there's obviously got to be a day where you didn't own white shoes. Do you own white shoes and a white belt now?
Certainly not.
And there may be some day in the near future where you wake up
You
and
just
say,
wake up and say, I love it.
after my grape nuts, I'm going right out and I'm buying white shoes and a white belt, and that's gonna be my image from now on.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna sell cars.
How does it happen?
I don't know, but it's a strange illness.
It certainly is.
888 Car Talk. That's 888-227-8255. Hello, you're on Car Talk.
Hi, my name's John. I'm calling from San Diego.
Hi, John.
Hi.
You don't have any white belts or shoes in your closet, do you?
No white belt or shoes in my closet.
Good.
No.
Just checking.
Yeah, thanks for checking. I have, though, a Volvo 2000 V40 that's creating some problems, though, probably more than the white belt or the white shoes.
What's that?
Well, a while back, it started to make a kind of a whining noise when I would accelerate, and it would be like a, kind of almost sounds like a siren, and it started a while, several weeks ago, kind of quietly, and then it's increased in the volume, and so that people on the street now, when they hear me coming, they turn to see if it's a police car or an ambulance or something. And so I called into a mechanic, actually, too, and they said that it sounds like a turbo.
Here you go.
And I didn't even know I had a turbo, quite frankly.
Yeah, your car has a low-pressure turbo.
Huh?
I mean, and Volvo's
And it's not working.
well, it's working, but it's making the noise because the bearings are shot.
Yeah?
Yeah, and
I think they said it was going to be expensive to replace that.
Oh, yeah.
yeah, you have any kids in college?
I do.
You better hope they flunk out because you're going to need the dough.
Yeah. Well, one of my questions is that how essential is a turbo on that car? I mean, is there the option of just like removing the turbo or taking it out and not replacing it?
Here's the problem: when the turbo fails, you can't just abandon it and say, "Well, I'll go without the turbo." Because one of the ways turbos fail is that they suck the oil out of the engine.
Yeah. Not a good thing.
And because the turbo turns at speeds like at 250,000 RPM, they can suck the oil out pretty fast.
And you wouldn't even know it
Yeah.
for 2 seconds.
You'd
Wow.
see,
And
say,
then the
wow,
engine-
look at that cloud of smoke. But boom. And that might be it. So
Yeah.
this is going to cost you several $1,000s,
Wow.
I think. A couple of $1,000 is not unusual.
Well, I work as a chaplain for a hospice agency in San Diego, and I think I better get it fixed because when I pull up to patients' homes, I do home visits.
Yeah.
Oftentimes, I think the last thing that needs to, be in the air is the sound of a siren. But now I have to decide whether the car's worth that much at this point with 119,000 miles. So.
Well, I mean, what if you didn't fix it and you can't trade the car in because they're going to hear you coming about 20 blocks away? You're going to have to cut the key and coast in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll find somebody at the bottom of the hill to trade it in at.
Yeah, no, that wouldn't be behavior befitting of a chaplain, would
No,
it?
it wouldn't.
Certainly not.
No, my brother could do that, but you
your wife might be able to do it.
Well, I apologize for the thought of that, actually.
Yeah, no, I know you've sinned, chaplain.
Yeah.
That's all right. We'll forgive you.
I appreciate that.
And when you take your foot off the gas, you can still hear the whine. Is that true?
It goes way down. You can hear it barely.
But it's still winding down. Yeah,
Yes.
it's the turbo. Yeah, for a minute there, for just an instant, I thought maybe it could be something like a bad alternator or a bad water pump, and I suppose it could be.
Yeah.
So before you condemn the turbo, and decide
Check
to trade
other
the
things
car,
out.
have someone listen under the hood. But I think that they'll agree it's the
Oh,
turbo.
yeah, they'll know immediately.
All right. Thanks,
Yeah.
you guys.
Bring your checkbook. See you later, John.
Take care. Thanks for
for
your
your
help.
call. Bye.
Bye-bye.
1-888-CAR-TALK. That's 888-227-8255. Hello, you're on Car Talk.
Hi, this is Todd in Casper, Wyoming.
Hi, Todd.
Todd.
Casper. I may have been to Casper, Wyoming.
It is on the I-25.
Yeah. And what is in Casper that I would have remembered?
Oh, that I can't tell you.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Huh? I mean, no landmarks. I mean, no.
Well, it has a big tower that kind of looks like an onion on the top of it, and that's the bank.
The bank. Oh, that's where they put the money way up there, so no one can reach it.
That's right. And when you get near it, you start crying.
and what do you do in Casper?
I'm a pastor, so you've had a chaplain, and now you have a pastor.
Oh, really?
Uh-oh.
Okay.
We're in a lot of trouble.
My wife and I just bought a new 2007 Hyundai Santa Fe, and since we're in Casper, they had to deliver us the new one on the car stork, that truck that carries all the new cars.
Mm-hmm.
It got to Casper, and then the dealership calls us and said, well, one of the cars blew out a rear windshield. The good news is it wasn't yours. The bad news.
Yours fell off the truck when this one blew up the rear windshield.
Close enough. Yours was the one behind it.
Uh-huh.
And so glass sprayed on the hood
Yeah.
and the headlight and on the windshield.
Yep.
And they said, well, we'll pay for repairing all that. And I said, great, that's wonderful. But then I looked at the windshield, and it just had just little light scratches and flecks on it, nothing major.
Yeah.
And I went back to an old car of mine that when we took the windshield out, the seal was never the same. It just got more windshields time after time.
Oh.
And I'm thinking maybe since it's not so bad, don't replace the windshield. But I'm not sure if that's the right thing to do or not.
I don't think it's the right thing to do, because if the windshield is installed properly, you won't have all the problems you had last time.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you bought a brand new car, and you should have a brand new car. And the windshield should be brand new, too.
Go ahead and have them replace it. There won't be any problem with the seal or anything like that.
Oh, we're not
can't
saying
promise
that.
I mean, we can't promise it, but you could just keep going back until they get it right.
No, that's true. Oh, there you go.
Wait a minute.
As we say, Todd, give them hell.
I'm Lutheran. I don't do fire.
Oh, you don't
no
do that.
fire and brimstone?
Yeah, I just don't believe I deserve a new car.
Oh,
right,
that's
right.
what it is, of course.
Yeah. Well, you picked the right car. Santa Fe, is a pretty good car for a pastor to own.
Yeah.
That's true. The Saint. I never
Yeah.
thought about that.
Yeah. Holy faith, I think, right? Santa Fe means?
Yeah. I think so, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah, you hadn't thought about that. This was an added bonus.
Yeah.
But well, I mean, I agree with my brother, and I hate to do that. But on the other hand, I do sympathize with the many people who have had windshields installed, you among them, improperly.
Yeah.
Here's the real issue: how far away is the dealership?
Oh, not far at all.
Oh, then you can go back every day and tell them to do it again.
Yeah, that's true. They'll get to know my name real well.
Oh yeah, well you don't want them to know that. Well, good luck. I think you maybe have them do it.
Okay.
You might as well start off with a
A new car is a
new car. That's
tabula rasa, as they say.
There you go.
And
That's
then
right.
you get a chance to put your own dents and dings and
There you
scratches
go.
in it.
Exactly.
Clean slate, clean windshield.
Yeah, hit a guardrail that first day, and you'll forget all about all the other things.
Okay.
See you, Todd.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks for your call.
Bye-bye.
Look, before we take the next call, we have to take a short break.
And when we come back, will we continue to pursue people's car problems with this same degree of commitment and determination? Or will we get serious and actually try to help somebody?
I wouldn't count on that.
Well, we will have a new puzzle when we come back.
Yeah, we will.
And what kind is it?
Well, it's automotive, actually.
Okay, well, stay tuned. We'll have the new puzzler and more of your car questions in just a minute.
I-5 southbound the county line. Here again, it's 5 a.m. and traffic's barely moving. Rubbernecking, changing lanes, read a book, coffee skates. Take a bite, make a call, fix your face, do it all. Pressures of commuting can lead only to one thing. People packing much too tight are gonna pump the spring. Everybody on the road is driving like they got it. Cutting back and forth, changing lanes, and maybe they should get up in the morning, don't be late, and then they won't be. And stress and worry, tension to my day. Remember, life is short and things aren't always what they seem. Patience is a virtue and not a born thing.
And even though earplug manufacturers speed up the assembly lines whenever they hear us say it, this is NPR, National Public Radio.
Ha! We're back. You're listening to Car Talk with us, Click and Clack, the Tappet brothers, and we're here to talk about cars, car repair, and, of course, the new puzzler, which I mentioned was automotive. And as frequently the case, I spend the few days leading up to the show, pondering.
No,
and
obfuscating.
No. I'm trying to find a puzzler, that's appropriate for the show. And I did this week. I did ponder a plethora of pathetic and potentially putrid puzzlers, but I did pluck from one of them.
Ooh, a lot of peas here.
A potentially non-putrid one, So
really,
so here it is, and I had to go all the way back to May 2003.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know how this happened, but I didn't. I have to do a little obfuscation, but this was sent in.
Okay.
The idea was sent in by a fellow named Bill Chase about 4 years ago.
All right, I'm going to sit here and just suck in every piece of information.
I wouldn't suck in every piece because most of it is bogus. Okay, but try to suck in the appropriate pieces.
I'll try to figure it out, yeah.
After 30-plus years of hard work as a pipe fitter, Joe finally retired, and he and his wife Jane decided it was time to see the country. Of course, the time-honored way to see this great nation of ours and the natural beauty of it is to do what? Watch it on TV, right? No, to drive it.
Of course.
Right? So they hit the road, and after 6 months and maybe 40,000 miles, they had indeed seen some sights. And boy, were their butts sore. Well, one morning, after looking over their 2001 Saturn, Joe decided it was time for some new tires. So they headed for the nearest mall where there was a tire store, Tires R Us. And the fellow working on the car asked Joe how many miles he had racked up on these tires. Maybe 50K, said Joe. But he wasn't really sure. The repairman then complimented Joe on having done a great job rotating the tires, as they were all worn pretty evenly. Well, I've never rotated the tires, not ever, said Joe.
Wow.
That's impossible, the tire jockey snapped back. Front-wheel drive cars like your Saturn always wear out the front tires much faster than the rears. In fact, usually 2 or 3 times faster if they're not rotated. So how could it be that in 40 or 50,000 miles, Joe hadn't rotated the tires, and yet they were all worn evenly?
Yeah.
And I'll give you a hint. While he was at the tire shop, the young fellow asked, "Would you like an oil change while you're here?" And Joe said, "Oh, it's not going to need that." Now, if you think you know the answer, inscribe it on the housing of a Troy-built big red horse garden tiller with forward rotating tines, cast iron transmission, bronze gear drive, standard electric start, full wraparound front bumper, 16-inch AG tires, 10 horsepower overhead valve engine, and a selection of heirloom tomato plants. And send them to Puzzler Tower, Car Talk Plaza, Box 3500, Harvard Square, Cambridge.
Our fair city.
Matt 02238.
Or you can email us your answer from cartalk.com.
If you have a question about your car right now, we're at 888-CAR-TALK. That's 888-227-8255. Hello, you're on Car Talk.
How you doing?
Hi, who's this?
This is Dan, calling from New Hampshire.
Hey, Dan, what's going on?
Not too much. I've got not so much a car issue, but I got a theory about car people and how their car says something about them.
Ah.
And I'll give you my data set that I made my thesis on. My parents Since I was a kid, my father bought Chevys and ran them till they didn't run anymore. 250,000 miles. Every once in a while, he got bold and bought a Buick instead. But
Oh, so he must have been one of the guys who sold my brother some cars over the years. Because Tommy never bought any of his cars until they had 200,000 on them. So
No,
it's
my
your
father
father's
typically-
fault.
my father drives them to the junkyard. So unless his brother's shopping at the junkyard, I don't think that was him.
It might have been. It's
no,
exactly
I
where
bought
he
all my
shops.
cars there.
All right, that mystery's solved. But go ahead, Dan.
Anyway, my father is under the belief that a car comes into its own at about 100,000 miles, and then it's a good car.
Yeah.
He's been married for 53 years. There's 5 kids in my family, 3 of which have adopted, including myself, have adopted his philosophy: buy a car and just run it until it doesn't go anymore.
Yeah.
All happily married. One sister, one brother. New car every year. Both divorced. So my theory is people who keep their cars longer keep their spouses longer. So
That is very, very interesting.
Sure, no, Dan, I agree that there are some people who are dissatisfied with what they have almost from the outset.
And people who are willing to put up with all kinds of misery and pain, like a 200,000 mile Chevy.
yeah,
They'll stay married forever.
Yeah, that's just the way it is. It's
Yeah,
no
they
better
can-
anywhere else, right?
I think your theory is brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I can see that. Yeah, sure. I mean, if you're willing to put up with,
A 200,000 mile Chevy.
yeah, then
You got to have a lot of patience.
so let me see. What if, so you don't buy your cars until, what does it say about you? You buy your cars when they have 200,000 on them.
Yeah, I don't know what that means.
And what does it say about your willingness to, or your spouse's willingness to accept pain and suffering?
Well, it must mean that I marry a lot of older women. And I do. I mean,
She's got a few miles on her, right?
She's well. My brother has inflicted a lot of punishment on his cars and his spouses.
and my spouses too.
Well, Dan, I like your theory.
All right.
I like
Yes,
your
I do.
and I don't know what it means, but I suppose you can spot somebody who's likely to stick with you through thick and thin
By the car he's
kind of
driving.
car that person owns.
But there's more to be learned from this, too, because my brother who got divorced, he is now driving old cars.
Yeah.
Oh, so
Not by choice.
not by choice. Well, he may learn something from driving these old cars.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's it.
Right? He may learn that there's more to life than driving a flashy new car and or spouse.
Exactly. I think just for the heck of it, we should put this little theory up on the website and give Dan credit for it, and we'll ask people what their positions are and whether or not they agree with his theory.
Just how long you've been married and how many miles on your car.
I
Yeah.
can just see it now. You may be in line for an honorary PhD in sociology from UNH.
There you go.
So don't do
I got
anything
my
for the next couple of
undergraduate there.
weeks. They may be calling.
There you go.
Brush off your cap and gown.
All right. See you guys.
Thanks for your call,
you, Dan.
Dan.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Well, I love it. 888 Car Talk. That's 888-227-8255. Hello, you're on Car Talk.
Hi, this is Rebecca from Greenville, South Carolina.
Hi, Rebecca.
Hey, how are you?
Great. Greenville, huh?
Yep,
Well, that says it all, doesn't it?
Yeah.
it does.
Yes. So what's on your mind, Rebecca?
Well, I was wondering why I have a 2002 Ford Escape that I've had for about 3 years. And whenever I use the air conditioning, my eyes start to sting and burn, and I can barely see from whatever's being blown in my eyes. And I'm just wondering if you guys know maybe why it's doing that and if there are any filters or anything I can add to prevent it.
And this happens when you use the AC?
Yep, just when I use the AC.
Is there any aroma associated with this?
No, mm-mm.
No.
No.
There goes 3 answers that we had.
I mean, I know there's a lot of pollen in my area, but I don't understand why it would happen only in the car, not in my house or not outside.
Well, because don't forget, the air conditioner, even though you can direct the flow of air, is primarily blowing the stuff right in your kisser.
Right.
And I don't believe that your vehicle has a cabin air filter.
Okay.
A lot of vehicles are coming through now with a cabin air filter, so it may in fact be the pollen.
I mean, it's kind of logical that it would do it, considering it's blowing pollen in my face, but I was hoping there was something I could add to it that would stop it, because it's really...
Oh, you were hoping that there was something you... You could spray in the vents.
Or like a little filter I could put in or have someone put in. I probably wouldn't do it.
Well, you could try.
Opening the windows.
But that kind of defeats the purpose.
Doesn't
I
it, though?
know. It's unfortunate, isn't it?
It lets the hot air in.
You could try wearing one of those full, headgear gas masks.
Well, I have one, so
Good.
I'm already equipped.
No, I have to say it's very unusual.
Well, I mean, my eyes get irritated all the time in pollen season.
In the car?
Well, everywhere. But it seems if I'm in the car long enough and I have the AC on long enough, my symptoms will diminish.
Well, actually, now that you say that, I think I noticed that too.
Because I think what happens is when I first turn it on, it's blowing all that stuff in my face.
Right.
Because all that stuff is settled in the ducts. And it's blowing it in my face, and then I'm itchy and I'm going crazy. And then after a while, I don't know what, either I've gotten used to it or there's no more getting in there, and everything settles down, and the lower temperature seems to make my condition get better.
Maybe I have to start the car up a little bit early.
Has it done this since day one?
Yeah, it has.
Yeah, because
can I ask a question?
Sure.
What is this AC that you guys are
oh yeah, well.
What does
Man,
that
down
mean?
here you really need it.
Yeah, Tommy's car not only does not have AC, it does not have heat either.
No.
Yeah, I mean you may have mold doing this.
Oh.
Yeah.
But I'd be surprised if it's mold.
Should I have someone look at it?
You might call in the mold team.
A mold removal squadron?
Yeah, I mean there are lots of things you can spray. There's all the air that enters the cabin comes in right in front of the windshield through the cowl there, where the windshield wiper blades are, and you can spray stuff in there that will kill the mold.
Okay.
And we use a product called FrigiFresh. That's the brand name of the stuff, and I don't know what actually is in it. There's a warning on the thing not to breathe too much of it, but we don't care because we're not in the cars; it's the passengers. No, it's safe, but I wouldn't be surprised if it is pollen, especially if it seems to go up and down with the seasons.
Yeah.
And because mine certainly does.
If I paid really close attention, I probably would discover that.
Yeah, and Tommy's thing will work well to open the windows.
All right.
Hang your head out like a golden retriever.
I think I'll try the FrigiFresh. Maybe that'll do it.
All right.
FrigiFresh.
Good luck, Rebecca.
Thank you both.
Thanks for your call.
Bye.
Bye-bye. 888 Car Talk. That's 888-227-8255. Hello, you're on Car Talk.
Ray and Tom, this is Rod from the Black Hills of South Dakota.
What's happening, man?
My problem is this. About 14 months ago, my daughter thinks I had a midlife crisis, and I went out and bought a brand new Honda S2000, and it's been a great car, and for 14 months, I've only put about 2,000 miles on it.
Really?
Really?
Not much of a crisis.
No. My crisis is 6 weeks ago, I was at home cooking dinner, and I got a call from one of the companies I do business with, and I won a Porsche Boxster.
Oh!
And it's not a new one. It's either 1999 or 2000.
What kind of chiseling prize is that? You won. Nissenbaum's going to have you win one of them, too.
Well, my problem is this. I don't need two sports cars.
Which one should you get rid of?
Yes, and keep in mind, I'm not a car fixer-upper. If I can change a flat tire without damaging a car and going to the ER, I consider that a good day.
Yeah.
Another problem here, we just purchased a smart car for my business.
Ah.
So you're going to have one smart car, one dumb car, and one kind of middle car.
I'm wanting to sell one of the sports cars to offset the cost of the smart car.
Yeah.
So this Boxster is like, you think it's a 6-year-old Boxster?
Well, it's either 1999 or 2000.
Oh, okay. So it's
more like
7 or 8.
Yeah, and it's in mint condition.
Yeah.
And it only has 25,000 miles on it.
Have you driven it yet?
No, it's in another city, and we got to go get it.
Well, you got to go drive it because it may change your life.
But I don't need two cars. That I guess I'm a businessman.
You're gonna if it looks like it's going to change your life because you love it so much, you're going to have to sell the Honda.
When you got the news, was it a telegram or was it an email or a phone call?
Phone call.
A phone call. Someone said, "Hey, Rob, you're not going to believe it. You won an 8-year-old Boxster." Was the first word out of your mouth, yippee?
Well, they didn't say 8 year. They said I won the car.
Oh, then you said
Yeah.
yippee.
Okay.
And then when did they divulge to you that it could be as many as 8 years old?
Well, I called the next day to get all the information on it.
Yeah.
Did they tell you to come with a tow truck?
No. Now, in Rapid City, we have a Honda dealership, so I
Yeah.
can get my Honda service, but there's no Porsche dealership here, and I guess
Oh.
I'm looking at it purely as a business.
Oh, well, that's a big issue. If you can't get it serviced, you might. And where is the thing right now? It's in Rapid.
Well, I'm in Rapid City, and the car is in Minneapolis.
Yeah, I mean, you could sell it to someone who lives in Minneapolis. My brother has all kinds of friends living in Minneapolis
Yeah.
that might be interested in it.
My friend Les Block lives in Minneapolis, and he's looking for a car.
Well, the supplier up there wants me to. They're storing it in a warehouse, and I got to get it out of there. So they're wanting me to
Yeah.
get it out of there, and I was just gonna get it back to Rapid and put it on eBay or the Honda on eBay. From the way you guys sound, I should keep the Honda and get rid of the Boxster.
Yeah, the Honda's not likely to be any trouble. The Boxster could be nothing but trouble.
So you want to buy a Porsche?
No.
Okay.
But if you have to go to Minneapolis anyway to get the car out of the warehouse that it's located in, you might as well drive it around for a day or two.
You might as well.
Can you get a temporary plate?
They've given us some plates for 15 days or something.
Perfect.
Oh, perfect. You drive it around for a week, put an ad in the newspaper if you decide to sell it, and sell it on the spot.
That's what I'll do.
All right,
what
good,
I do.
Good luck, Rod.
Thank you, gentlemen.
See you later.
No, I should say that's what I would do if I were you. If I were me, I wouldn't do that.
No, we know that.
We know that. Okay. Thank you.
Well, it's happened again. You've squandered another perfectly good hour listening to Car Talk.